Aloha. It's your favorite friend with questionable character, Aloha Mr. Hand, with a Black Friday update because why not? And of course, this update is brought to you by our friends at From the 108 and of course, Jack Daniels. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight. I wish the hot stove was a little hotter for the White Sox, to be honest with you. Seems awful quiet. So hopefully that means that the Sox are moving in stealth and something's about to happen. Would also like to know what the full coaching staff looks like, but because that really hasn't been announced yet, I know they've announced a couple of the guys, so we'll see how that goes. But wanted to talk about a couple different things. The first being Kris Bryant. I know there's been a lot of chatter about Kris Bryant and the White Sox trading for Kris Bryant and getting him from the Cubs. I wouldn't say Bryant would be my first choice. I definitely wouldn't dismiss it though, and I would be more than willing to accept it as a fan. I think it would be a fine choice for him to play right field. Uh, the question I have about it is, it would definitely be a 1 year rental, and as such, being a 1 year rental, the question I had is, what would be the cost be for that 1 year rental? And I think that would be the driving factor on whether or not to pursue this. And even if the Cubs were willing to do this, I mean, there's a lot of speculation that Bryant might be non-tendered on Wednesday, which is the tender date. I would think if they were going to be non-tendering him, they'd be listening to all offers and trying to trade him and get something for him before the non-tender date. Because if they don't tender him, he basically becomes a free agent and they get nothing. So I think they would definitely be listening. And I do believe they are listening. And I do believe he will not be a Cub come Wednesday on December 2nd, on the tender day. I honestly believe he won't be a Cub. Whether or not he'll be with the White Sox, I don't know. That's a different story. I think the Cubs are in a very peculiar situation here. And it's sort of ironic, the situation they're in. Because by holding him back those extra couple days to get the extra year of control, that's this year. That's 2021 is the extra year of control they held him back for. And now they're facing this problem. I find it funny and ironic at the same time that that's what's going on. Because if they didn't hold him back, he'd be a free agent right now and they wouldn't have this issue. So, I find it humorous and ironic. So I can't help it. Sorry. But getting back to him, I don't think the Sox will be able to sign him long term because I have it on pretty good authority that he wants to be a warm weather guy. So probably going to the West Coast, San Diego, San Francisco, LA, someplace like that, to be a lot closer to his home in Vegas as well. So I don't see him signing long term with the White Sox if they were able to get him in a trade, to be completely honest. I don't see him signing up front because why come this far and forego free agency? And I don't see him signing after the season does because he'll want to go to a warm weather climate. So factoring all that in, you have to look at what would be the acquisition cost for him. And I've heard names like Dunning, Madrigal thrown out and things like that. I honestly don't think you have to pay that much for him. What would be an adequate deal? I know the Cubs would love Eloy and C-Spec for him. Not going to happen, but I know they'd love to have him back, for that price. Would it take someone like Dane Dunning? I think the Cubs would be foolish to turn that down if that's what was offered. But I've also heard Washington's in the mix. I've heard Boston's in the mix. Boston doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Washington, I can sort of see, even though I don't know, because some of the moves they've already made to clear payroll, like non-tendering Eaton or releasing Eaton and things like that, I question whether or not that's a realistic alternative for him. Because remember, he has to go to arbitration, and the way arbitration works is him and Scott Boras, his agent, will walk into the room with one number. Whatever team he's on will walk into the room with another number. And then the arbitrator's just basically going to decide either Bryant's going to get paid what he requested or what the team requested. That's it. There's no middle ground here. It's one or the other. So I think that's a factor in this as well, because I mean, if he goes in and asks for 30 million and the team's willing to pay 19 or 20, I think the team wins hands down. But if you're talking about, let's just say 22 versus 20, it's a crapshoot which way they're going to go. I don't know. It's a total crapshoot on which way they'll go. So all those things have to be factored in on the acquisition cost and what it would take to get them. So I don't know what would be a good cost for him. Would it be Dane Dunning? I know the whole prospects is suspects thing and everything else. I'd prefer not to lose pitching, especially with so far no free agent signings on the pitching market. Charlie Morton signed with Atlanta. I know some people wanted him, but I don't think he was ever a realistic target because he made it clear that he wanted to be close to home, which is Florida. That's why he signed with Tampa in the first place, and that's subsequently why he signed with Atlanta, because he's close to home. So I don't think the White Sox ever had a chance. I know the Twins were also pursuing. They never had a chance either. So I don't fault the White Sox for that. Someone else mentioned maybe Philadelphia trading for him. I don't see that at all because I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you saw, but on Wednesday, the Phillies laid off basically 80 people in their offices. They gave them, letters on Wednesday afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving, here you go. So I don't see the Phillies pursuing that either because I just don't see. And how's that Bryce Harper deal looking for Philadelphia now? Ouch, that thing's gotta hurt. I think that's why Real Muto is not signing there. I don't think they can sign him because of the finances involved. I think Real Muto is going to be a Met. I just think Steve Cohen's going to blow the doors off everyone else trying to make a statement. So, but I digress. Um, so Bryant, I wouldn't rule it out. I think it'd be a good pickup, but in the grand scheme of things, I prefer something a little more long term if you can get that locked in before going down the Bryant Avenue. That's my take on it. But the second thing I wanted to talk about was pitching. Pitching, pitching, pitching. I don't know. I have not heard a word. I mean, it's all quiet on the White Sox front when it comes to the hot stove. I mean, the stove seems to be ice cold, which means they'll probably announce a signing tomorrow or something like that. But there's been some rumors about, them going and doing the Lance Lynn trade again, trying to get Lance Lynn again. Remember, Lance Lynn only's got 1 year of control left. So, again, I think that should be a factor in the deal you make to get Lance Lynn. Again, another name I've seen is Dane Dunning being tossed out for Lance Lynn. Again, you're talking about multiple years of control versus 1 year of control. So and the prospect versus suspect thing. I prefer it be built around other pieces, to be honest with you. But if that's the piece that it takes, I think you might have to do it, especially if you want to be in this window that you talk about that you're in now. But with that being said, I just see the White Sox trying to kill two birds with one stone with this. I just see them also trying to get Joey Gallo in this deal. And I don't know how I feel about that because I hate the strikeouts. The strikeouts annoy me to no end. Ask anyone who sat with me at a game and they'll tell you how much strikeouts annoy me. I thought the Adam Dunn deal was a terrible deal because, he's a 3 outcome player, strikeout, walk, or home run. Well, he didn't hit many home runs, especially in 2011. How did that look? And, yeah, you might hit 30 or 40 home runs, but you're going 160, 170 strikeouts. That's 160, 170 times. You didn't even put the ball in play to try and let something happen. Maybe you just ground out and you go, you run back to the dugout. That's fine. But you have a higher probability of getting on base if you put the ball in play than if you don't. For example, the second baseman can boot the ball. The first baseman can drop the ball. The ball can find a hole in between two fielders. With a strikeout, none of that happens. So I just don't like the idea of Gallo. I like the idea of Gallo from the defensive Gold Glove perspective in right field. Yes, Joey Gallo won a Gold Glove in right field this year. You could say what you want about the Gold Glove and its true significance and things like that, but you have to be doing something at least halfway decent in order to be considered, let alone win. So you got to give him that, but I don't like the strikeouts. I don't. I just the strikeouts annoy. There's a couple things that you'll find the more you listen to me that annoy me to no end, and the White Sox are great for all of this. Strikeouts. Now I understand players are going to strike out 75, 100 times a year. I can, fine, live with that. But when you're getting into the 170s, 180s, 200, basically a 30-year at bats as a strikeout, I have a problem with that because that's a 30-year at bat you did nothing. Second, the 0-2 walks. Jose Quintana was the king of these, and I'm not going to bash Quintana again, but he was the king of the 0-2 walks. What's an 0-2 walk? You get ahead 0-2 in the count to the batter. And then you try and get cute and throw crap 2 feet outside, trying to get him to swing at garbage or whatever else. And the next thing you know, the guy's walking down to first base because you threw 4 straight balls. That's what I mean by an 0-2 walk. And then the other thing Jose Quintana was great for was the first 2 batters in an inning just dominating, getting through in like 6 or 7 pitches. And then after that, struggling to get that third out, partially with an 0-2 walk. And then ending the inning, giving up like 25, 30 pitches and a run or 2 on the board. Those are really my 3 biggest pet peeves. And the other pet peeve I have is pitching against your defense, where you're lined up for the guy to pull the ball and you're throwing it away, so that you get a little cue shot down. Let's just say you have a left-handed batter, and you got him lined up to pull down the right field line, and you keep throwing away, and he hits a cue shot down the third base line, and no one's there because they're all shifted over. Those are my pet peeves, but that's neither here nor there. So, but I just think it would not shock me that the White Sox do trade for Lance Lynn and get Joey Gallo in the process of the trade. And what would that trade consist of? I think it would have to be someone like, it would have to be a Dunning, or someone like that would be involved in it. I don't know if it's Dunning. I don't know if it's Cease. I don't know if it's Raylo. It would be someone like that. And then some other parts, maybe like Jonathan Stever or Benjamin Bailey, who the other day I called in a group chat with some of the 108 guys. I called him Benjamin Button, but that's a story for another day. Someone like a Benjamin Bailey or a Dahlquist or Thompson, someone like that. I think that's what teams would want to focus on from the White Sox to get value back. I think they want players that are close, either major league ready or very, very close. They don't want to wait a couple years. And the reason they want major league ready that maybe hasn't been on the roster yet, so they can manipulate service time and get that extra year of control. But the problem with that is there's a CBA coming up after the 21 season. Who knows how that's going to work out after the fact? So just something to consider there as well. I think that's going to also play a factor in how trade negotiations go down. How is the CBA going to shake out? And are you going to shoot yourselves in the foot, like trying to get this lower level, this sort of major league not quite ready, and get the extra year of control, and you might lose that down the road. That's something else to consider as well. So thanks for watching. Of course, feel free to leave any comments you want, compliments, criticisms. Feel free. Tell me I'm the greatest guy in the world, or tell me I'm a raging idiot. You're probably both right. And I actually got a compliment from someone that I was shocked. I got a compliment from Ken W.O. I kid you not. Thank you, Ken. I did see it. I appreciate it no end. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Remember, buy me lots of Christmas presents, too. All right, everyone. Talk to you later. Bang.